It's a privilege to welcome you to our event today. This event is dedicated to the latest tech innovations in healthcare, pharma, and life sciences. As several 2023 published reports have highlighted, the tech outlook for the next few years sounds promising. For healthcare delivery ecosystems, all tech innovations aim to address major challenges we're still facing, while in pharma and life sciences, we observe a race for a competitive advantage and enhanced merger and acquisition activity. Also, the life sciences industry seems to be redefined and completely recalibrated by the converging emerging technologies. Please allow me to introduce our distinguished speakers today, who will share not only their expertise, but also their boots on the ground experience with some of the deployments they've been involved in over the last year. And they will also highlight some of the latest technology innovations in the global ecosystem. These will include also the impact of AI in pharma clinical intelligence, fintech for healthcare revenue cycle management, and of course, the crucial need that we all worry about, cyber security for healthcare, life sciences, and pharma. Please allow me to first introduce briefly each one of them. Yamina Hakem, founder and CEO of GlobalReach BI, welcome.
Thank you.
Yamina is a globally recognized executive with over 3 decades of experience in international business development and information technology in the pharmaceutical and life sciences industries. As the founder and CEO of GlobalReach BI, which is a consulting company dedicated to strategic intelligence, she has harnessed AI technology and specifically lately generative AI technology to provide client partners with strategic, valid, accurate, real-time data-driven insights. This innovation has propelled GlobalReach BI to the forefront of the pharmaceutical life sciences industry. Prior to founding GlobalReach BI, Yamina had an illustrious long-standing career at Thomson Reuters, where she held several key leadership positions. She is also a member of the board of directors at Pharma and of Les Conseillers du Commerce Extérieur de la France. She provides expert guidance on international trade and economic development, making significant contributions to the advancement of the pharmaceutical and life sciences industries. She will share key insights not only about pharma industry trends, but also the recent launch of a generative AI platform that is called Spring, and that contributes to major redefining of the ecosystem in pharma. Now, please allow me to welcome Terence Mills. Welcome, Terence.
Thank you.
He's a visionary, influential leader in the field of artificial intelligence with over 20 years of experience as CEO, director, and chief architect of innovative and impactful AI solutions in various domains, such as healthcare, travel, and entertainment. He is currently the CEO, director, and chief AI architect at Veuu. Correct me if I don't pronounce that correctly.
You're all good.
A fintech ecosystem for healthcare that provides claim adjudication at discharge from the hospital using advanced AI technology in language to reliably decode claims and determine risk of denial adjustment in seconds. This is something I dedicated about 12 years to, and I'm really excited to hear how you solve this problem. He's also the chairman of the board and chief AI architect at AI.io, a data science and engineering company that creates a new class of explainable and trustworthy AI that can augment and amplify human and process intelligence. Terence is a prestigious member of the Forbes Technology Council, one of the top 50 AI influencers in the world, and his work has been featured in over 28 global publications and media outlets such as New York Times, MarketWatch, Business Wires, just to mention a few. Welcome again. And now I would also like to introduce Tyler Cohen-Wood. Welcome.
Thank you.
She's a globally recognized and renowned cybersecurity expert with over 20 years experience, including 13 years of service within the US Department of Defense. In her role as a former deputy division chief and senior intelligence officer at the Defense Intelligence Agency, she played a pivotal role in safeguarding US cybersecurity interests. As a keynote speaker and national security authority, she offers unique insights into cyber threats, warfare, risk mitigation, and national security. Tyler is the CEO and co-founder of Dark Cryptonite, an AI-powered SaaS platform. She has received multiple accolades, such as being named one of the top 30 women in AI, and was recently named finalist for Cyber Woman of the Year. I cannot think of a cooler title than that. Yeah. And she is also a sought-after media contributor and a dedicated patient advocate who, through her vast knowledge, learned enough to help diagnose herself. And I think she's going to share some of those experiences today. She is set to launch a new show, Health Exposed, in the next few months on ITSP Magazine Network. Welcome to all three of you. I really appreciate the time, and I'm looking forward to hearing your rich experience. The reason why we started this event is because, as we all noticed, there are numerous reports in the industry, a vibrant entrepreneurship ecosystem, but yet boots on the ground, a lot of companies are still struggling to move from legacy systems to all these innovative solutions. So all three of you are successfully managing all these ecosystems, and I think our audience would love to hear from you, not only what you are doing in the field, like concrete projects that you're currently working on, but also your advice for those that are still dealing with EHRs, which were a tool of the past. So let's start our first round by hearing from you what innovative tech trends do you observe in each of your industries? And then also, which one do you think has had the highest impact on your company? So Yamina, let's start with you, then Terence, then Tyler.
Okay, so if you think about the pharmaceutical, I'm going to be speaking mostly from the perspective of the pharma industry. So the big pharmas and what's their limitation and what's the situation there. So in terms of the innovative trends, there is one that is extremely important. When you think that the pharma industry, it costs a lot of money, it costs billions to develop a new drug, it takes a long time. You are dealing with the human body, and the human body, there are so many unknowns. So here, what has really, really impressed me, it's not just the partnership between, yes, the pharma and the tech to go further, implement the new AI technology. But what impresses me is the willingness from some companies to start from afresh and develop new drugs just with AI. And what we saw, and there is one company, medical AI, that is based in the US, and what they have done is developed a new drug using only AI technology, and this new drug now is in phase 3 clinical. And instead of it taking years to actually develop, it has taken, let's say, a few months. And that is what I see as extremely impressive. And this is only the beginning. This is only the beginning. This is the first one, and this is only the beginning. So that's what I would say is the latest trend, and what is just utterly amazing. New drugs developed from beginning to end, from discovery to clinical, based on tech.
Thank you. Terence, what trends do you observe?
So most importantly, from the perspective of healthcare and AI in healthcare, is regulation. Regulation will continue to take us by storm, the latest of which was and came today from the White House, though it was more broadly sweeping than that of what someone might call a regulatory authority to provide oversight. Though I think that, generally speaking, regulation will continue to affect us. The regulation from the White House today was more about what can we do with large companies that are in focus versus smaller companies that probably will run under the radar, though I don't think that that's realistic, because everyone is in focus when dealing in healthcare because of the regulations with HIPAA, PII, PHI, and sensitive data, because it's all sensitive data as far as we're concerned. We can have upper and lower environments. We don't have to move data between upper and lower environments, but it's all sensitive data regardless. So it all falls under, a SOC 2. I think that ultimately, as regulation starts to take hold, I think Europe is in a much better position to regulate it. We're probably in a much better position to build it. Though I think that generally speaking, regulation needs to come from the standpoint that people understand what AI is. And I still think that we're at a point where maybe the understanding is not there. Though regulation as a trend will continue, and it looks like that's going to happen for the foreseeable future.
Thank you. Great points. And yes, I've seen a lot of reaction to that new regulatory framework. So let's see how the market responds. Tyler, what trends do you see?
Well, first off, those were both incredible answers. The perspective that I'm looking at is having a safe, secure space that is not on the internet, where pharmaceutical companies or healthcare companies or doctors can communicate back and forth without ever touching the internet. Also, if I was going to be attacking AI, what I would do is I would actually go after some of the databases and I would poison those databases. So one of the things that I'm also very excited about is having a closed loop network where you have the ability to collaborate on AI, where you know that it is not going to be poisoned or it's not going to be attacked. Personally, with the health conditions that I have, one of the things that I am most excited about is also the digital twin technology, because I have some pretty rare diseases and sometimes it's kind of trial and error. But for me, once we get those digital twins to a place where they are, really replicas, including, a genetic map, it's going to be easier to test medications or procedures on that digital twin without the patient having to undergo unnecessary procedures. So I'm very excited about AI. And I also am excited about the trend with AI to really speed up diagnostics, and also to really run through things that a physical human just can't do, to be able to really collate the data in a way that a human just doesn't have the ability to do. So I'm really excited about a lot of these new technologies.
Absolutely. And you mentioned digital twin. I just wanted to alert our audience. We will have a session in a few weeks where we'll address digital twins for healthcare, pharma, and life sciences as well. But also all of you addressed key points. If I may add, some of the recent reports published also highlight huge opportunities in redefining the way we combine data sets, not only the traditional clinical data sets, but also genomic data sets. So for instance, Amazon, NVIDIA, and Globant have recently offered multi-purpose, multi-omics platforms. And I think to all your points, those will enrich not only the drug discovery, but also will require new regulation. And then from a cybersecurity perspective, I think that's yet another amazing pool of very sensitive data, genomics data, that attackers will be interested in. So I think all the elements you mentioned, even more for the next decade, will be crucial. So thank you so much. For the second round, I was hoping we can also talk a little bit about what each one of you are doing in this space. So let's give examples so that our audience knows that you're not just writing about it, you're actually having the experience, and how you've gone from design to deployment, and how you're interacting with customers to convince them to switch from legacy systems and to more modern deep tech solutions. So we'll follow the same pattern: Yamina, Terence, and then Tyler.
Okay, so what are we doing within GlobalReach? So I'm going to say that I really embrace the new technology and AI. And over the last 4 years, we have implemented Spring Platform. Spring Platform stands for Searchable Primary Intelligence, because what we do within an organization is that we gather a lot of clinical and commercial intelligence that is so important to the development of a new drug. And all those projects take a long time. So we gather a lot of intelligence that is used from time to time. And what we decided is to, from the feedback from our big pharma clients, is to integrate that within one unique platform, Spring. So the big thing about AI, the big limitation is data. So it's all well and good to have good technology, but when the data you cannot rely on, that's not really great. We can't rely on the Google. While what we do is that we've got really great data. It's validated, it's triple checked. We talk to the doctors, we talk to the nurses, we talk to the industry itself every day. That's our job, to bring back really what's in it for the patients, for the new development. So we are now having this fantastic validated data, and we just have to implement the tech element to make it searchable, to make it easily accessible from all the different perspectives. And it can go from the regulatory affairs to the clinical development across the spectrum. So we've been doing that for the last 4 years. And what we did in 2023 is implement generative AI. So the idea is here, again, using the tech that is available to us, OpenAI, the API, we integrated that to the platform so that our partners and clients can search, and automatically the summary set up in very well-structured sections can retrieve the information they need within within a 2-second search. So basically what you are doing is integrating high value added information and amazing tech from OpenAI. I didn't want to reinvent the wheel. They've got scientists and data scientists who are building those models. I don't have that. And so combining those, we launched it in September. And I have to say with great success, because it's really, really helping our clients in making sense with the science. And this is what we have implemented. There's lots of learnings that we've taken from that. And I think that's going to be the third question. What is it that we learned from that experience? So I'm going to keep that for the end. But I have to say that it's a roller coaster. But it works, but it's amazing when it works and when the clients are happy and when they're saying how we can help them with the data.
So for our audience that might not be as familiar, you are taking the best out of all three ecosystems. You're augmenting the traditional research databases, you're augmenting just traditional OpenAI available searches, and you're augmenting the current scientific publications that we all have and conference proceedings. And the combination of all those three, real-time and customized for the client. Is that accurate?
Totally accurate, okay. Exactly. Yeah. It's totally customized based on specific projects and developments. Yeah.
Great. Terence, you're currently involved in a project that Andreessen Horowitz's firm describes as the next exponential opportunity. Healthcare times fintech seems to be what will really change the paradigm. We have all kinds of beautiful technologies deployed for all other domains, but we're still struggling with capturing the revenue fully and reducing those errors. So can you share with our audience what you're doing now and the value and the impact on the ecosystem?
Yeah, absolutely. So I come from a place where we believe that this is about solving problems, and in particular business problems. Healthcare certainly has a number of both medical assessment problems as well as business problems. And the business problems are exaggerated by hospitals closing their doors in sectors around the country that people thought would not be the case. they are in a cash crunch position. Not to get into a discussion about economics, though, I think that they were ready for a slowdown, and coming out of COVID, COVID payments going away. But I don't believe that they were ready for inflation, and that has caused a disruption in this. We need a strong set of healthcare options in this country and places to go. And so looking at some of the largest problems that we see in healthcare, it is defined this way. It is in the revenue cycle. It is about the fact that humans cannot code claims well, reliably, accurately, or with any level of confidence whatsoever. This has been going on for a very long time. This is not new, but solving it is a very hard problem, though what you also have is that it leads to a different issue. It leads to denials. It leads to adjustments that are unforeseen, that then leads to another problem, which is long AR days, the time to actually get paid. These are problems that continue to proliferate. We, 6 years ago, started a deep dive on healthcare to uncover these issues and the real causes of these problems, and then set out a course to actually build an MVP. Fast forward 6 years, we are now running in several healthcare systems and also on the professional side as well, with an autonomous coder that is not actually built the way you think it would be built. Data is a big factor of AI. And what we found early on is that you would never have enough claims data to train AI reliably, because every single encounter that you have is different. My encounter alone, if I go today, could be different than my encounter 2 months from now. And so it's about reliability of data that can properly train AI. And we found that it wasn't that data. We found that this was about how doctors speak, that Dr. A can diagnose patient X, and it could be 3 words. Dr. B do the same thing. It could be 25 words buried in a paragraph. Humans have problems with that. By the way, machines have problems with it. So it is also a factor. But our autonomous coder built on language uses not only metric modeling, but linguistics in order to determine how doctors speak. We can profile them, and we can determine that when Dr. A says this, he or she means this particular code, because it translates that way. We also built an AI-powered risk modeling system that's capable of evaluating a claim after it's coded for all the reasons why it could be adjusted and or actually denied. And that would be based on adjustment, denial, and remark codes. And that could happen up front instead of on the back end. So that we figured that if we could code them properly and risk profile them properly, that we would then bring the financial side in, is that we'd adjudicate those claims at discharge for those patients. And that is exactly what we're doing now. That is a big, big business. It means that you move AR days to 0 for healthcare providers. That is new as well. And so we have a payments platform that allows that to happen in the form of instant payments. It does include the basis of matching 837 to 835, which is claim and remit. And so that's an auto reconciliation that takes place. And it's a full transparency and tracking. We are entering into a pilot with CAQH, which oversights healthcare payments in the US as an organization whose board is made up of 9 payers. And we'll be actually going through a pilot here shortly to demonstrate instant payments and what that actually looks like. So as we move forward, we're solving 3 major business problems with AI across the board that are different forms of AI. They use different tools coming together to build a intelligent system of engagement It's not the human that's engaging, though. It's another machine. And that's what's kind of interesting. It's the EMR. So it is capable of reading doctor's notes, parsing them, understanding them, and then coding those notes in a way, whether it's complexity within patient or less complex with outpatient, or emergency management or ambulatory or whatever it may be based on the encounters. This is exceptional if we can move it into mainstream, which is what we're planning to do now.
That's great. And for our audience that might not be as familiar with healthcare denials, we just want to share some statistics that healthcare denials have been increasing year over year between 10 to 15%, which is terrible. So those are dollars lost in the ecosystem and time, precious time lost in the healthcare world, of course, for providers and all clinical teams, as well as administrative teams. And overall, the healthcare denials percent can vary between 20 to all the way 48%, depending what system each hospital has. So I congratulate you, Terence, for the work you're doing, because it's been, like you said, a problem for many years, and no one has tackled it yet in a manageable way that's also sustainable. So just small pilots, but this seems to be a comprehensive solution. So that's great.
Yep, great. Thank you.
Tyler, you're in a domain where also cyber threats have continuously caused problems for healthcare. Yes. So the latest stats show that actually HHS issued a warning that healthcare systems are the most vulnerable, and healthcare still ranks number 5 worldwide in the number of attacks, magnitude of attacks, and the average cost per attack. So it's 4.9 million in the US per cyber attack in healthcare. So share with our audience why you chose to focus on this domain.
Well, dark kryptonite is not just for healthcare, but the reason that this is near and dear to my heart is because I have chronic rare diseases, and I know exactly what you're talking about, Terence. 2 words you say to a patient that's terrifying: prior authorization. I also love that you're really working on something that is actually an issue, and that's doctor-patient literacy. Because, like, for example, if I were to say I have inflammation, well, it may be swelling, and they're 2 different things. And, a lot of patients don't actually know that. So, kudos to what you guys are doing. What dark kryptonite is, it's slightly different. Think of dark kryptonite as a safe house. So if you have all of these legacy systems that are compliant with absolutely nothing, but you put it inside of the dark kryptonite closed loop network, and you're now compliant with pretty much every standard. So what it is it's an off-the-grid technology where you can send information back and forth. You can do anything that you need, but it's in this safe house. And we're actually using AI a little bit differently. We're utilizing it as an intrusion prevention system, but also we're using it to work with the browser, because the browser is an AI-powered SaaS platform, and we're not using traditional IP addressing. We're just not, because if you have an IP address and a domain name, you can be hacked. But we're utilizing different technologies such as hashes to connect to. And if the AI inside of the dark kryptonite closed network suspects that maybe there has been some type of compromise, it will immediately switch the browser's location. And in later versions, what we're interested in doing is taking it even a step further and adding a patent pending quantum resilient encryption technique. So you can really do a lot of your business inside of this closed loop network. And, for me, it's important because, I have medical records, all over the place. And having those records in a safe place is very important to me. And I know that it's very important to patients too. And I, for one, am actually very excited about AI, because I do not believe that AI is going to necessarily replace doctors. I believe AI is going to supplement doctors and do the things that they can't do. And I'll give you a quick example. In my case was difficult. It started in 2018. And one of the things that I did was I started treating it like a digital forensics exam. And I looked at things that were kind of in the background, but also really kind of pieced things together in a way that made sense. And one of those things was doing a chronology of every single CBC and metabolic panel that I'd had, or any test, with results. And one thing that I noticed that was interesting was my sodium level was always literally the last number, the bottom of the reference range. On occasion, it would go a little bit lower. But a doctor looking at that record is just looking at one record in time. And we're humans. We're not going to pick up on that chronology, but AI will. And that's where I think the power of AI is going to be so strong. And, you know, the reason that I really was pushing dark kryptonite is because when hospitals start getting attacked and you're putting people's lives at line, that's when something else has to be done. And that's really that was the inspiration of dark kryptonite, to have this safe place and have ways to protect your assets, but also your patients. So instead of spending all this time reacting to cyber events, you're spending time coming up with better and new medications, more linguistics to help with doctor-patient
communication,
literacy. And you know, also to Terence's point, you know, as well, you know, making sure that, you know, this is something that is done right from the start. So I'm very excited about, you know, the possibilities that AI is going to bring, you know, into the world. And again, the coding nightmare, you said that to me and my stomach dropped.
Thank you.
So, thank you.
So for our audience that might not understand the magnitude or be aware of the magnitude, just to give the latest stats from the Department of Health and Human Services, 40 million patients have been affected just this year by 327 data breaches in healthcare, just to share kind of how much we're talking about. It's not just a few, it's in the million. Thank you so much for all of you to share the latest that what you're doing. And then for the last round, I wanted us to, like Yamina already alluded to a little bit, talk about some of the challenges and maybe also describe how can organizations engage with these innovative solutions, because there are organizations who truly want to, but they don't know how long would it take, what resources do they need, what's a traditional engagement look like, do they need to rip out all the legacy systems? So maybe give examples how each of your solutions can actually function on top of their legacy system or not, or integrate with it, because that's usually the question I get from everyone. So let's start same pattern. Yamina, Terence, and then Tad.
Sure. I mean, so as you understood from what I was just saying previously, is that we have been working with AI tech and enabling good usage of information for the last 4 years, and with this year implementing the OpenAI API. So it has been a real roller coaster, but I have to say that the end result is amazing and appreciated by the clients because it facilitates their work. We are here to make the life of the competitive intelligence, strategic intelligence, clinical intelligence, make their life a lot easier with good data and quickly. The reason why it was a roller coaster is that there are different elements that I didn't anticipate. One is how difficult it is to find good data scientists that not only understand the tech element, who can basically code and everything, but because we are dealing with pharma and scientific information, make sense out of it. So you have to have two capabilities. And that has been one of the toughest elements for me, to find the right data scientist who knows about the tech, but also understands the science. That was really, really important. The second element is to basically say that in order to make the project a success, one recommendation is that you have to start small. And then what's going to happen is that over the years, the project is going to evolve. So one key recommendation that I would have for anybody wanting to implement technology internally is to start with a very well-defined project and go with it, run with it. The big thing is that it is not, you're not going to find the answers quickly, and it's not going to be giving you the solution like this, but it's a way of learning, making mistake and learning again, correcting the bugs, correcting. You're always, that's what I initially and naively thought, okay, this is the data that we have, this is the answer that I need, so basically make it happen. No, it doesn't happen like that. You have to do a lot of trials and errors to make it happen. But I have to say that it is well worth it, and you need to start small and go into incremental stages. There are always some new functionalities that we are adding, and we are adding those new functionalities with the feedback of our clients, and that makes them really part of the development project. So having the right people in the team is key and not easy. Having the patience to go through different loops and trial and errors. But certainly the conclusion of it is that you need to embrace tech, because what it's doing, it's really amplifying, enabling the job of our clients. And you see it with their eyes when they say, wow, produced a report, a one-page report, and at a click of a button. So it's, you have to, you have to see it as an enabler more than going to replace your job. Obviously, it's going to be here. It's going to be increasing our work capacity, and it's going to be making our life a lot easier.
Thank you, Yamina. Terence? You're on mute.
Sorry about that. I think some of the biggest challenges that we have in healthcare is change. Change is always a concern, and it's a greater concern when you go into organizations that have been operating the same way for many years and are comfortable doing so. By building a system of engagement that is AI-based, that can automate, provide transparency, and give tools to obviate fraud in certain circumstances, a la payments, you make great strides in the overall opportunities that healthcare has to accelerate payments and fix big business problems like we discussed. That means change. And change is scary for everybody, even in normal circumstances, not to mention those in healthcare. And in particular in coding, if you are addressing coding in such a way that a human will not see a claim in a hospital, as an example, unless the AI can't handle that claim, then that could be problematic for some that have been operating that way for a very long time. How we address change is important. It's not insurmountable. It's certainly something that can be dealt with. How we deal with it, though, is not dissimilar to when you want to do something, how do you create your speech and what comes out of your mouth in such a way that people can feel good and feel comfortable about what we're doing. That means that we constantly have to cite examples, and there is a necessity to run these types of systems of engagement in parallel to the current process that's going on within the hospital today, as an example, in order to get to what the end result is. There's also a challenge with accuracy. How accuracy is defined is an interesting discussion when dealing with coding. Is accuracy the ability to detect language in a doctor's note effectively and properly and then code it? Well, maybe, but isn't accuracy governed by one arbiter, and that's whether or not it gets paid? Not if it gets paid the most or the least, but does it get paid? And accuracy of a claim and accuracy of coding is not a language problem, but it is a payments problem ultimately. And your arbiter is, in fact, does it get paid? And is your AI actually coding in such a way that you're not dealing with upcoding and downcoding, which, by the way, is illegal? And so how do we code so that it's the proper code? That is governed by payment. But, and I'll throw one but out there, is when we address payment, this is outside of denials and adjustments. The claim might have gotten paid, and it might have gotten paid if there wasn't an adjustment there, in other words, like patient responsibility and other things. So it really is about payment. And so we have to consider these things when looking at making changes within an environment and determining, well, what are the changes that are taking place? Are they accuracy changes? Are they coding changes? Are they payments changes? What is going on? And we have to answer those questions comprehensively. And I think that from an overall challenge perspective, those are sizable and they need to be discussed. And so the sales process may be a little different, therefore, but you can make great strides when dealing in these organizations and solving some big business problems. So it makes sense to still push ahead.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Tyler, your perception on the challenges? You're also on mute. We need a cognitive AI that will automatically
that will turn
us.
the mute off. I really liked Yamina's point about that. We have to keep working on it because it's a living, breathing thing, essentially. Cybersecurity is that way too. I really love your response, Terence, too, where, because I believe you're 100% right. The biggest obstacle is going to be changing the healthcare system, which, as you said, is not the quickest to change. But it's getting to the point where I think this is going to be what we're going to start seeing. But I also see we're in a really exciting time because we can make AI into whatever we want it to be. And I mean, I know that it's been around for a while, but in terms of becoming integrated into our sociology and how we live, it's a relatively new thing. And having the ability to really shape what that's going to be is extremely exciting for me because, I don't have to tell you guys, there are a lot of issues in the healthcare system. There are a lot of things that work great, but there are a lot of issues. And being able to incorporate AI and whatever its successor is going to be and whatever the successor after that is going to be, right now at the ground stage, we can work and making sure that it's secure, that it's equitable, scalable, and that it's going to really help, in this healthcare space in pretty much every aspect of healthcare. So